It's so crazy to me because I'm asked so many times if I'm resentful in any type of way for where the WNBA is right now.
Candace Parker just said what every Caitlin Clark fan has been thinking all season. And it's exactly what the WNBA's old guard didn't want to hear. The league, especially the commissioner, needs to take notice. We hoped a new season would bring a fresh, fair attitude toward Caitlin and her fans. Instead, the jealousy has gotten louder, the bitterness deeper, and the double standards more obvious than ever. But now, Candace, a WNBA legend, has stepped in and delivered a dose of truth that cuts through all the noise and exposes the hypocrisy. It was calm, clear, and rooted in simple common sense. And maybe, just maybe, this will finally make people stop and reflect. Because if there's one thing this season has made clear, it's this. The more Caitlin Clark succeeds, the more the league seems to unravel in response. Let's break down exactly what Candace said. Because it might be the most powerful, measured clapback we've seen yet against the critics, the doubters, and the defenders of the status quo in the WNBA. But first, like this video. Every like is a tissue for the haters. They're going to need it. And don't forget to subscribe for more Caitlin Clark and Indiana Fever updates. So why is Candace speaking up now? And why does it matter? Here's why.
Out of women's basketball for a horrible team when she arrived. Outside of LeBron and Steph, she is the most well-known basketball player currently playing in the United States.
Oh, yes. And I don't think that's close.
The WNBA is experiencing explosive growth right now. And let's be honest, it's all thanks to Caitlin Clark. It's the worst-kept secret in sports. Caitlin Clark isn't just the most popular player in WNBA history. She might be the most popular athlete in the country, period. The numbers don't lie. Last season brought a historic spike in TV ratings, ticket sales skyrocketed, and merchandise was flying off the shelves. Every single metric pointed to one undeniable fact. Caitlin Clark moves the needle like no one else. And this season, she's already surpassing those milestones. Sold-out arenas, record-breaking viewership, a level of buzz the league has never seen before. The Caitlin Clark effect isn't slowing down. It's getting bigger by the day.
And now that Caitlin Clark is injured, the ticket prices for the Fever and Sky game just plummeted to Hades.
Fans are tuning in to watch Caitlin Clark and the Indiana Fever in record numbers this season. It all started with 1.3 million viewers for a preseason exhibition game against Brazil. Let that sink in. A preseason game pulled ratings most regular season matchups can only dream of. Then came the season opener. An average of 2.7 million viewers tuned in to watch the Fever face off against the Sky, the most watched WNBA regular season game in 25 years, and it didn't stop there. Just recently, a peak audience of 3.3 million watched her go head-to-head with the Liberty. But then, Caitlin got injured, and everything changed fast.
The loudest mics, like I stated, are the ones that's race baiting. Not even bringing up the names, but all the people that I'm seeing that are tied within the WNBA media, coaches, all type of things. They are very resentful of Caitlin Clark, and I don't know why. It doesn't make sense when you have somebody that's doing what she's doing for the WNBA.
Ticket prices for Fever games without Caitlin Clark? They've plummeted by nearly 300%. And while Fever fans have continued to show up in the TV ratings, we'll get to that in a minute, the rest of the league hasn't kept pace. This should be a massive wake-up call for players, coaches, front offices, and league leadership alike. Caitlin Clark is projected to generate over $1 billion in revenue for the WNBA this year alone. Let that sink in. One player, $1 billion. And that means one thing. The WNBA is one serious Caitlin Clark injury away from losing all the momentum it's built. So those CBA dollars Angel Reese is counting on, that new deal Nafisa Collier believes the players have. Leverage for? Without Caitlin, forget about it. And yet, somehow, the league keeps shooting itself in the foot. Instead of embracing the undeniable truth about who's driving this growth, they contort themselves trying to claim it's something else. Instead of celebrating the moment, they keep dragging the conversation away from basketball and away from what really matters.
You even though it's 100% false, by acknowledging we don't condone hate and not seeing that this was a internet rumor founded of complete bullshit, you're lending credence to this. There was none of that.
You know, the loudest voices right now, as I've said before, are the ones pushing divisive narratives, often centered around race. I won't name names, but it's clear. Many of the people tied to WNBA media, coaching staffs, and even within the league itself are showing real resentment toward Caitlin Clark. And honestly, it doesn't make sense. Why would anyone in the WNBA be hostile toward the very person who's bringing in unprecedented attention, revenue, and growth? Caitlin is doing something remarkable for the league, and instead of celebrating it, too many are reacting with bitterness.
The kind of stuff that's being said to them, the stuff that's being said to Kelsey Mitchell, the kind of things that are being said to Natasha Howard are actually wild. People have taken a photo of these women and circled a bullseye on them and have said, it's on site when I see you. Those are actual threats.
We're only a few games into the season, and it's already been one facepalm after another when it comes to how Caitlin Clark and her fans have been treated. It took just one game for the chaos to start. After the season opener against the Sky, the league launched an investigation into alleged hate speech over what turned out to be nothing. But by then, the damage was already done. Instead of celebrating Caitlin's incredible debut and a record-breaking moment for the league, the headlines were hijacked. The focus shifted away from basketball and toward controversy. Once again, Caitlin Clark and her fans were dragged into a narrative that had nothing to do with what actually happened on the court.
Caitlin Clark is getting some of the grossest, most morbid comments, racist, hateful. We're talking the cup runneth over with hate. Here, Kathy Engelbert, you're no space for hate. Where are you right now?
Out of that mess came a twisted narrative that Indianapolis wasn't safe for players and that Caitlin Clark's fan base was toxic and hateful. People were actually calling for the All-Star game to be moved. Others were demanding that Dave Portnoy be banned from arenas for heckling Angel Reese. Meanwhile, the league, dead silent. No statements, no support, nothing. While Caitlin Clark and the Fever have faced real hate, real targeting, and constant disrespect, the WNBA has looked the other way, saying nothing, doing even less.
Kathy Engelbert, in this long, drawn-out article, goes on and gives herself credit for why the WNBA has finally entered some type of mainstream conversation.
The things being said about the Fever players, especially Caitlin Clark, went far beyond basketball. These weren't just critiques of her game or debates about her popularity. They were hateful, personal, and in some cases outright threatening. This wasn't sports commentary. It was targeted hostility, and it crossed the line.
To new followers and outside observers, our organization's success might seem overnight and even lucky, prepared by a singularly exceptional group of college players coming into the WNBA. However, we could not have capitalized on those advantages without years of hard work and preparation. Years of hard work and preparation. It might have seemed like it came overnight.
These weren't just rude comments. They were legitimate threats. Personal, targeted attacks that crossed every line. The kind of harassment you'd expect the league, especially one that constantly promotes its commitment to inclusion and standing against hate, to publicly condemn. But instead, silence. No statement, no defense, no support. And it's only gotten worse. We've now reached a point where people on X are accusing Caitlin Clark of using her assistant coach's baby as a prop. Yes, it's gotten that absurd, that vicious. That's right. They're actually attacking Caitlin Clark for holding a baby. That's the level of discourse we've sunk to. It's no longer criticism, it's conspiracy. And still, the league has nothing to say. No statement, no leadership, just silence. The hate directed at Caitlin and her fans? It hasn't gone away. If anything, it's intensified. Despite all the numbers, the sold-out arenas, the record-breaking viewership, the unprecedented national interest, there's still a deep resistance to acknowledging her impact. And that resistance? It starts at the top.
When they play in these arenas where there are 15 to 20,000 people in the stands, they are in front of people that they haven't been in front of before. That is an opportunity for all of us fans to get to know all the players on the court, all of the players in the WNBA, to pick new favorite players, to pick other teams that we want to follow along.
Commissioner Kathy Engelbert even wrote a piece for the Harvard Business Review where she went out of her way to take credit and share it broadly with coaches, players, marketing teams, front office staff, and league strategists. Everyone got a pat on the back. Everyone except the one person actually driving the league's success, Caitlin Clark. There was virtually no mention of her impact or the role she's played in the WNBA's growth.
I think it's all about money, marketing, and we cannot deny what Caitlin Clark has done for the women's game. I'm not going to act like it's something that we don't see. She's had a huge effect. Call it the Caitlin Clark effect. Yes, have we ever had teams have to get into larger arenas to play against a team? No, we have not. So if we have more eyeballs on the game and Caitlin Clark brings that, why would we feel some kind of way because she has more television games?
She seriously diluted Caitlin's impact more than a McDonald's fountain Coke. In the article, Engelbert lumped Caitlin Clark in with Angel Reese and Cameron Brink, claiming that as these rookies entered the league, regular season games averaged 1.2 million viewers, a 170% jump from the previous year. But here's the truth. You know it, I know it. Even your dog knows it. It was Caitlin's games driving that 1.2 million average. Yet because the old guard can't stand that Caitlin is getting all the credit, there's a constant scramble to hand out gold stars to anyone but her. It's one thing to be jealous, that's human, but what we're seeing goes far beyond simple envy. For some reason, there's this need to tear Caitlin Clark down just to feel lifted up, and in way too many cases, people jump straight to racism as the explanation for why she's getting all the attention, as if it has nothing to do with the fact that she's shattered 62 WNBA records, become a first-team All-Star, ranked 4th in MVP voting, and dragged a struggling team into the playoffs in her very first year. It's wild because, whether they want to admit it or not, what Caitlin Clark is bringing to the table is creating a better situation for everyone. When the spotlight shines on her, it doesn't stop there. It shines on the entire league. When we've already seen legends speak up, people who helped build this league and truly understand what's at stake. Lisa Leslie, a Hall of Famer and one of the most respected voices in women's basketball, basically dropped a mic on the entire WNBA when she called out the jealousy surrounding Caitlin Clark.